What's up, guys? Today on the podcast, we have a friend of mine. Once again, he's a former guest, Mahamed Aly, not to be confused with the boxer, because he couldn't be on the podcast because he's no longer with the living.
That's right.
But different Mahamed Aly. He's the 2018 world champion, among other things that he's won. He's competed in ADCC. He's a freaking crazy physical specimen. He's a really cool guy. There's like an energy that people give off, and he's one of these guys where I like I brought him out to the gym and I brought him out again, and he's just a fun guy to be around. He's got a good vibe about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he really does.
Sure.
Like, he's just a cool dude. So when he was doing the seminar, like there was obviously the technique that he was doing and showing, but it was also there was a lot of mindset stuff going on where he was talking about the training methodology and the mindset that he has when he goes into it. So a lot of valuable stuff, and really enjoyed having him out there with him, and then out here with us. And I took him to one of Jess and I's favorite spots, Guacamole.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, we went there twice.
Yeah,
and they have this chocolate tres leches cake.
Ooh, that sounds yum.
So good. But that said, we'll get ready to talk to him, and you can hear about what's going on his neck of the woods, as well as just hearing some interesting bits from someone with that level of experience and technical ability.
Mm-hmm.
As always, thanks to our sponsor, Charlotte's Web, charlottesweb.com. Promo code is Jiu-Jitsu, 15% off in the order. Again, I'm a fan of their products. I've been using them for several years now. I like a few things about them. Among the big one is that there's consistency amongst the product. So I know supplementation wise, I'm getting what I'm putting into I know what I'm getting in from the supplement and what I'm putting into my body. And I feel confident enough. A lot of times I share that with my students and they end up using it, and I'm pretty happy about that. And they've got a lot of different products to try. They have everything from tinctures to gummies. They even have balms. And again, the balms are really good. They're by far the best balms I've used. Over the course of time. I'm sure I haven't tried them all, but the ones I've tried, they really work well. That's the CBD Medic balm.
CBD Medic, yeah, they're like basically a sister company. They're the same brand,
and they have it actually has FDA approval for pain relief and stuff.
Yeah, for like arthritis.
Super helpful. So again, sometimes like when you get like some nagging stuff going, or if I get nagging stuff, I use it on my knees, shoulders, and things like that, and it definitely helps out with relief. I take it with me anytime I go to a seminar, or I know I'm going to train with a bunch of people and really beat myself up. It goes in the baggie with me. So if you'd like to try any of their products and again, this is not their idea, this is just mine. Whenever I go on a supplement or a diet or anything, I always try it out for at least a month to sort of see it through. So I always encourage people, if you're going to try a new supplement, try it for a month, because the reality is, and this is like a statistic, I forgot where this was, most people that get products like stuff that comes in containers, they don't ever use it all. Right? They get it and they don't ever use it all the way through, because it requires some just the reality of it, right? People don't, they get a book and they don't read it. They get the lifting program, but then they don't lift. They get the jiu-jitsu membership or the gym membership and they stop going and whatever. So it's just the way people are. And this is why I'm always saying you want to be an executor, not a collector. Because collecting ideas, collecting information, collecting supplements is great. If you don't execute and use them, it means nothing, right? This is the idea of jiu-jitsu. You can collect all the techniques you want to, but if you don't execute and use them, it doesn't mean a whole lot. So if you do buy some of their products, I encourage you to use that thing all the way through to see what kind of results you get from it. Because again, if you take a little bit here, then you forget about it a little bit there, you're not going to get the thing. But if you take it consistently, you can really see the effect of the supplement as to whether or not it's going to take to your body. Because again, some people are different. Some people don't really feel the effects of it. And then other people are like me, where we're like, man, this is awesome. I love having this a part of my recovery routine and training routine and everything else. It's a part of that because it's part of my sleep routine. So check them out at charlottesweb.com. Promo code is Jiu-Jitsu. Save 15% on the order. Epic Roll is our other sponsor. Been with us for a couple of years now. If you want to check it out, Matt at epicrollbjj.com has tons of design. We're currently working on something new. We're working on a new Chewjitsu rash guard and pair of shorts. I think it's going to be really good. We're still ironing out all of the design stuff, and then we'll get our prototype in so that we can try it out again, because I got to try stuff out before I offer it to you guys. That's kind of my rule. Got to try out first. So I like it, down with it, and then can offer it to you guys. I've tried out on his website. I've tried his gis, his t-shirts, rash guards, and shorts, both the Velcro and the Velcro-less shorts. All good products, all worthy of being worn, all worthy of being bought. So if you want to check out any of his stuff, again, really cool designs, good quality. I think it'll be a good win for you, a good buy. If you're in the sort of the market for some jiu-jitsu gear or sort of casual wear, you can go to epicrollbjj.com. Promo code is Chewjitsu, save 15% on the order. And if you guys want to be on the inside, so to speak, with whatever's going on in my neighborhood, so to speak. I said that twice. It's kind of redundant.
It's all right.
I know. It's okay. We're just going to keep rolling. You can go to chewjitsu.net. On my website, there is a button that says free ebook. You click that button. You will then have the ability to get a couple free ebooks and a free video that comes along with it. And then you will be in my Chew Crew email list. Now, with that email list, I will tell you about, like, for instance, I just had a camp that sold out in 24 hours. It's the first ever jiu-jitsu camp. I didn't post about it anywhere on Facebook or anything. I posted about my email list. It was gone. And so again, that's where they always get first crack at everything, so like, because that's where, like, I'm sharing a lot of times day to day, I'm sharing like philosophy ideas, training ideas, just general stuff. Sometimes we'll have a good laugh at trolls, because it's fun. But that said, if you want to join, just go to my website and you can do that. And you'll be on the inside, so to speak. So you can get in there and you can see what's going on, have first crack at all the events, products, and everything else that comes up, as well as kind of see what's going on in my brain at the time. So you can sign up there. And if you guys want to check out the sort of back end of the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/the Jiu-Jitsu Podcast. There we have a lot of different content added over the last several years, everything from videos of the podcast with guests. Sometimes it's just a conversation with Eugene and I, as well as rolling videos and all this other stuff. There's tons of stuff there. If you want to check it out, you can subscribe and cancel at any time. It helps support the podcast that you're listening to right now. So if you'd like to do that, then give it a look. All right, guys. And so with that said, let's jump into the podcast and talk with Mahamed.
Yeah. Maha, where do you live? Where are you, like,
Virginia?
You're still at, so you're in Virginia. And where's your main gym you're training out? Are you just kind of bouncing around? Or?
Yeah, it's in Maryland.
Maryland. So it's close?
Yeah, like 20 minutes.
Oh, really? So are you with Lloyd still out there?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know. I've seen videos you kind of bounce around fight sports.
Yeah, go everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you recently start doing that?
No, I was always like that.
Yeah. Huh. What do you like? Do you like? I mean, do you like doing that, like just rolling, to get different looks?
I like rolling with other people, having fun. If I have a friend somewhere, I'll go there.
Yeah. You got any favorite training partners? Anybody?
No.
You got somebody like your size that you feel like we at the seminar? First of all, it was a great seminar. I loved it. For me, like, one of my hardest positions, I usually like to play for my back is that knee cut. So that for me,
when they hit the knee cut,
yeah, it's money. I love it. I was like, because I already play it, but I didn't know the details. So for me, it was great.
Yeah,
it was great. So
and everything, right?
Yeah, and you're a bigger guy. I was surprised though, something you were kind of showing because you're a bigger dude.
Yeah, that's crazy because when people are explosive, they can cut the knee very, very easy.
Yeah.
And there is not much you can do besides like giving up an advantage or something for them to, at least for you to get back on guard. So back in the day, I started doing that and it was awesome, So I kept developing the technique and everything. So now he's getting better.
Yeah, and I think, like, for me, like, a couple of the things that you've done, and if other people have done this as well, when you do in your seminars, it's like, you're not gonna, like, for instance, like when the very first seminar I ever did, I remember, like, I learned a lot of stuff, like a bunch of techniques. I remember being done with it, and I was like, that was really cool. I don't remember any of it, and it was always like this. And then especially, like, sometimes you can record or try to take notes or whatever else, but it can be a lot of stuff. And in your instance, where both I've learned a bit at 3 of your classes, and basically we're just going through like one particular area, one little movement, and then sort of just picking apart different details with it. And that makes it a lot easier to actually retain something from it rather than being blasted with techniques, because all the things you showed, it was like, some of them didn't feel as comfortable. Other ones felt more comfortable to me, but the position felt good. And so I was able to kind of play around with it rather than right when something's starting to feel good. Oh man, we're moving to a new technique.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as that one feels good, we're moving to a new one, right? You don't really get a chance to actually hang on to it.
And you have to also understand what people want to learn. And some people, they go to the seminar to take a picture, like a lot of people, they don't go to the seminar to learn. They go, oh, I like this guy, I want to go there and take a picture with him. And that's it, hanging out. And a lot of people, they think, or they know, or they don't have the desire to be super good or to compete or whatever. So of course, these people have to be happy. You have to take the picture. All the people, they want to learn, and all the people want to roll. They want to feel the experience and everything. So doing something like that, teaching one technique, one grip, one adjustment is good, because if you really want to learn, you can go deep into a detail, and everybody else is happy too. If people want to roll, they roll. I don't roll in every seminar, just where I feel comfortable and when I already know the people. But yeah, like I try to make, what's gonna get people happy. If they are there for the rolls, I'm gonna roll. If that, like yesterday, I did something that I never did before, which was the warm-ups, like showing people what I've been doing for mobility. Because I noticed you have a lot of masters, right? You don't have a lot of teenagers and stuff. So we start facing the mobility problems eventually. So you want to be able to move better, to warm up better, so you know about that. So yeah, so right now, like every time I teach a seminar, I kind of feel the environment first and see, man, I think if we do a mobility or a big warm up now, it's going to be good for everybody, and they can take something from the seminar and apply it to their jiu-jitsu journey, tomorrow, next week, next month. So that's why we did a big warm up and everything. It was fun, man.
Yeah, I thought it was useful, and it's simple enough that anybody can try it if they felt like they got something from it, that they can try it again later on. And my hips are actually sore from it. Yeah, like I can actually feel like right there on that glute on the side. I'm like, oh, there it is. Like I got up this morning. I was like, why is my butt sore? I was like, I didn't do legs yesterday, And I was like, oh yeah, it's probably those leg exercises, because like my external or internal it's
not good.
It's not good.
Well, think about when you even kind of when you're walking, you almost like your feet are turned out a little bit. I always watch everybody walk. It's just something. It's just something that's in you. Like I watch people run, I watch them walk, and I was like, oh, what's wrong with them? What can't they do? And so I see a lot of people internal rotation. You got to think about that's like when the leg is going, like the foot's pointing out, the knee's almost going in. And so if you don't have that motion, your knee's going to get just destroyed. And also in heel hooks and things like that. But the one thing, I remember about you when we was it 2018, or when did you come for a seminar? 19. So when you came in, I remember our role. I remember it. I always say, like, I put you next guard and you were letting me work. And then you did the splits, right? And I was like, what the hell? Like your mobility, your flexibility, and your control was incredible. And so when you started bringing that up, and I was like, as you're getting older now, you're starting to see maybe some of those things aren't as easy, or your body's not as, that was one of the main things is your, I was kind of texting with Chewy after the seminar, and I was like, one of the main things that you had a different mental aspect, like a mental approach to the game. Now you're more of what's my opponent going to do? How am I mentally going to, attack or approach this? Even some questions after the seminar, we were talking, and you're like, how do you take this person down? You're like, what's mentally? I want to do certain things and say, hey, you're not going to do that to me, and then I'm going to adjust the game, because you're a lot of it's mental. If they get that overhook and you do that little move, they're going to say, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of those things I think is very, your mental approach is different. Seems very different than the last time when I saw you.
Yeah. Like, jiu-jitsu is what I do. I've been training every day for 12 years. The first time I didn't train as much was now during COVID. So that's when somehow my jiu-jitsu got way better, because I wasn't training as much, but I was able to see jiu-jitsu everywhere. Like I will go mountain biking and I'll be learning the techniques and everything. So I'll be studying and listening people talk about mountain biking and the techniques. So I could just apply in jiu-jitsu, because when you're a beginner in something, you learn a lot about yourself. So I was a white belt in biking, right? So I even got courses and stuff for me to learn the techniques. I was so into the mindset and everything. And I was, of course, trying to translate that to jiu-jitsu. So, man, I learned a lot about getting worse to get a little better. Like in biking or riding, like motorcycle riding, when they are learning a new technique or a new way to do the track and everything, the turns and the brakes and everything, they actually get slower before they get faster. So when they are applying new techniques and stuff, they get worse. But they already know, like learning that, mastering that for 3, 4, 5 weeks, then I'm gonna be half second faster. And then I stopped using that in jiu-jitsu. I was like, man, you don't have to be 100% all the time. And something that my strength and conditioning coach been telling me, man, if you want to be on your peak, you have to, go down a little bit, go back, step forward, so you can, that's how your body works. It's not that you have to go 100% all the time. So I started learning and listening to these other people from other sports, and somehow my jiu-jitsu got way better, So now I'm more about studying and understanding. Of course, it's not just technique, jiu-jitsu is way more than just techniques. And a lot of times you're going to see a great guy losing to a guy that is not as good because, there are so many things. There's the mental, the physical, the technical, the whatever. Like you have so many things that you have to worry about when you're approaching a tournament. And sometimes you don't have to be the best technically to win. Sometimes you don't have to be the strongest. You have to be honest with yourself. The same thing I was saying yesterday. I learned that a lot with Henry Cejudo, which was, man, be honest with yourself. If you're not the best, that's all right. You have so many different ways to win. So right now I'm like that. I've been thinking a lot about my opponents and people that I'm going to face and the way they approach the game. Some people, they're going to score more in the first 2 minutes. Some other people, they're going to score more towards the end. Some people, like I had a problem in the past where every time the referee says stop, put us back in the mirror, that's when I'll be scored on. That's when people would score on me because I'll lose my focus. I'll lose my, I wouldn't be that focused, and my attention would be, going somewhere, looking at the time. So I'll lose the momentum. So, and then for a couple of months, I was, just focused on that. If they stop you, you pay attention to your grips. Because I was so, let's go. I want to go. I wouldn't pay attention to the grips, and then I'll be back in the completely different position. So stuff like that, I've been learning a lot, better, getting more in the mental part of the game, and that's been helping me a lot. So now my jiu-jitsu is getting better regardless if I'm training or not. Of course, you have to be training. Your muscles have to, you have to create a muscle memory and everything. But when you do that for so many years, you're going to see what you do everywhere. Like I see jiu-jitsu everywhere, So that's why when you see those monks, they're going to sit down for 12 hours. What you doing? I'm training. They're going to say, I'm training. And then they're like, man, they're not true. And they are getting better because now they got to a point where they don't actually have to punch you to think about the way they punch, like how activate all the muscles and everything, how to be faster. And they can do that. And we can do that too. So we just have to be, thinking and brainstorming and paying attention to what our body's saying and everything,
A lot more. You've done that too, Chew. You do a lot more like mental training, like meditation. And even as you've gotten older, you always talk about like you have a stretching routine and mobility routine and stuff like that. Like, cause you've gotten injured a lot less frequently since,
as I've gotten older.
Exactly. Yeah.
I got injured more when I was younger.
Right.
Because like when my body would say something, I didn't listen.
Yeah.
Body's like, something's hurting. And I'm like, F it. I'm young. I got to go, and there's a lot of value, like you're saying, to taking a step back. And, and this is, I think, something that happens as you get a little bit older too. You have to be more thoughtful about your approach because, when you're younger, you have less responsibilities. You're like, you don't really have very many, right? Your body's really healthy. You can throw it up against a brick wall and tomorrow it's going to feel fine. So you train really sloppy. I'm just going to train hard and that's all I'm going to do. As you get older, right? Like you start getting into things like careers and work and businesses. You have a kid, right? You might have a kid, you might have family, you might have work, you have a lot more responsibilities. Your time constraints, or there's different sort of constraints on your time. There's a lot of things at play, and then your body starts to become less resilient towards injury and damage. So then you got to think about like for instance, you were talking yesterday, like, do you train hard every single day? And they're like, well, no, because like, I mean, you could, I guess, but then like you were even talking about like high level guys that might train hard, really, with really tough guys occasionally, but they're also training with people that are less skilled than them. So they're less risk of injury. It builds their confidence, all these things, John Danaher's talked about that before, like training a lot with guys that are under your skill level so that you get the confidence built. And also again, it's like an active repetition, like when you're drilling, but you have to be more thoughtful as you get older, because you can't simply just go, I'm going to do it. But I always think about that, because when you think of like young kids, like how good they get so fast, it's like, what is it that's so different from them than adults? And I just think one of the big things is that they don't have any responsibilities. There's nothing going on in their life. Like, imagine being like, for instance, we've got a couple of 13-year-old, like there was a 13-year-old kid there yesterday.
Big guy,
big kid, right? 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, he's great. And, he's been training with me for a bit. And, even when he first came back, because he was gone the whole time for COVID. And when he first came back, he didn't really skip much of a beat, because he'd been watching videos the whole time. He's like, I watched all your videos and stuff when I was not in there. And I think, like, well, what is it that kids do? Like, what did they have with getting advantages? And I was saying, man, imagine being like 12, 13, not really interested in girls yet. You don't really got anything going on. You don't have to go to work. You don't have kids. There's no responsibilities, bro. Mm-hmm. And instead of playing with Legos all day or toys, you could go and PlayStation. You could go roll. Imagine the time that you spent playing video games when you were a kid, or doing whatever that you did as a kid, and you could put it into this thing. Imagine how good you're going to get. And I think that's kind of the thing where when you were talking about mountain biking and buying courses and stuff, I think that's like, for me, I have to be careful about what I get into, because anytime I get into something because one of the things when you learn how to, like, when you go through any skill acquisition and you understand what it takes to be good at it, you unfortunately then take that same approach to everything. So like, you don't just walk in to say, yeah, I'm just going to bike a little bit. You're like, all right, I'm going to bike. Let's see. I need to get some instructors to show me what to do. They got to show me the tricks, because it'll make this process faster. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to do the repetitions. I'm going to have to find a place where I can do this repetitively. Like, you get really into it. Yep. Even like everything.
Especially if you see a lady passing you by. You're on the trail, and then you think you're going fast, and then a lady just. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, and if you're competitive, the competitive nature.
God, yeah. Man, listen. You're gonna kill yourself, trying to catch the girls and everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember like when I would just run. I'm not a fast runner, but I would go run when I was getting ready for fights and stuff. I'd be running sometime, and I'd see some like dude who'd like be coming up
70-year-old,
like 70-year-old, or just some like middle-aged guy running. I'm like, and I'd start to pick up my pace. I'm like, he ain't catching me. Yeah. I was like, it still instantly becomes a competition. It 100%. Shouldn't be, but I just can't help it. Yeah.
I started doing yoga, man. I was doing yoga for a little bit. Man, listen. I would see those old ladies, 6 a.m, doing stuff that I couldn't do. I'll kill myself, man. I'll be there, trying to hold a posture, and I'll see, but I'm struggling. I'm sweating, that thing's supposed to be a relaxation thing. Man, when I see those old ladies doing what I can't do, I'm competing, I have to do, and then I was like, man, I have to stop.
Then you get in your own way.
I didn't get here for that,
Yeah, they're black belts in yoga, man.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
I did that same thing. I walked into the yoga room, my very first one, and it was a hot yoga, so it was like 110 or 100, whatever it is in the room, super hot. And I walk in, and I'm sitting there. I was in a tank top and like my fight shorts, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, and I'm seeing everybody come in, and these old ladies and stuff. I'm like, dude, I got this. Yeah. I was like, I fought in a cage. Like, I did all this stuff. I fight grown men every day for fun. That's what I do. And then I remember, like you said, I'm competing against them, in my head. I'm failing miserably. And then by like about 3/4 of the way through the class, I just had to sit down because I was so hot. I was drenching in sweat. I had taken off all my clothes. I'm down to like my, the sort of like spandexy underwear. And I'm just sitting there like, this sucks, and yeah, you get in your own way with it. That's why in yoga, they try to stress it like it's your own practice. It's not about who else is there. It's about you, your own practice. That's what you're doing today. Don't look around at someone else and go, well, like that 70-year-old lady can stretch. I can't, damn it,
So
You're gonna lose.
Yeah.
You're going to lose if you do that.
Yeah. So mountain biking, you feel like helped just the mental learning piece of it was pretty helpful for you.
Yeah, like being a beginner again.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's the mindset you have to have. Like everything that you do, if you can keep the beginner mindset as long as you can, is gonna help you a lot.
Is that
Because
something?
at some point in jiu-jitsu, you feel like you're not a beginner anymore, especially if you've been training for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go places, you kind of, oh, I already know that. Even if you try to fight, like I've been trying to fight against that all my life. I never want to think that I already know jiu-jitsu. I don't. But it happens. Eventually you start winning tournaments, and you kind of, and you know sometimes you're gonna make a mistake, and people are not gonna be able to make you pay on practice. It's still even making them mistakes, and you find yourself in a comfort zone, even without knowing that. Even competing, training, and going hard, you still mentally don't necessarily have to be there on practice for you to grow. And then when you do something new, like mountain biking or whatever, you kind of find yourself again being a beginner, and you learn a lot about yourself. Oh, I do that when I'm in danger, when I'll be afraid, or I'll go even harder. And learning about yourself is the best thing. Because if you know how you're gonna react, some people are willing to hurt other people in tournaments. Some other people, they don't. Like, no, man, I'd rather lose than getting somebody hurt. There's no good and bad, especially on professional level, black belt. Like, if you are willing to hurt people, it's good for you, actually. But if you are not, it's good for you as well. Everybody's there, they're professionals, they know what they're going for, they know the risks, they sign the waivers and everything. But you gotta know yourself. You have to understand what you're gonna do in that specific situation. If you're losing the tournament, you only have a minute to like, you're not gonna score enough on that person to win the tournament. Are you willing to try something that's gonna hurt them? Are you willing to lose and train another year to win that specific tournament? What are you gonna do? So if you have those conversations with yourself beforehand, as soon as you get there, you're not gonna hesitate. And hesitation's bad if you're trying to compete. So regardless of who you are, if you're a good guy, if you're a bad guy, if you are willing to hurt people, if you're not, if you know that beforehand about yourself, over there, you're not gonna hesitate. You're not gonna suffer. It's not gonna be a stress thing, and you're not gonna. If you have only a minute to make that decision, and if you spend 10 seconds thinking about that, you might not have the time anymore. So knowing yourself is big for me now. So like we had a conversation before. Like he's talking about meditation and everything. He's like, man, yeah, when I meditate, I'm able to make the decision before I get mad. I ask myself, do I want to get mad? And stuff that he told me, I was like, man, it makes a lot of sense. So you keep learning, and there is good and bad about getting old. There's good and bad.
Sure.
Like being young, there's bad things about being young too. It's harder for you to think when you're younger. You want to do. You don't want to think. You don't. You don't see the big picture. So there's good and bad always. So you have to always choose the good. And focus on that and get better.
Who are you, do you think, in that instance? 1 minute left. Are you the one that's willing to hurt someone, or are you the one? You are?
Yeah. Because I was the one getting hurt a lot.
Uh-huh.
I was the one. I got hurt so many times, and I didn't get mad with the guy. I didn't get mad about them hurting me. Because in my mind, it's like, man, you are a professional fighter. You've been training hard. I don't think it's disrespectful to go 100% and try to kill the person. I think that's what I expect if I'm fighting you on the finals of the Worlds or a big tournament. I expect you to be willing to die for that, because I am. So if I feel that on you, and fighters can feel that. Like if you fight somebody, you can feel that energy. You can, as soon as you shake somebody's hand, oh man, this guy is going to, I have to actually beat this guy to beat this guy. You know, like it's not gonna be an easy thing. He's not giving up on this. And that kind of fighter, you can beat them 10 times. You're always gonna respect them. You respect that kind of fighter. But there are some other guys, they're super good. But you know, as soon as you score them 1 point or 2 points, they're gonna quit. These kind of people, you know, they're super good, but you don't respect them as much. So now as a fighter, I respect fighters. Not necessarily the winners, but fighters, you know, because the only thing you have to do to be a fighter is to fight. You don't have to win. And now I already know, like a medal is not going to make you different than you were without the medal. I already know that. Without the medal and with the medal, I'm the same person. So I'm going to respect the fighter, not the winner necessarily, you know? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I'm willing to try to kill a person if they're trying to kill me. And I respect that. You know, I respect that as a fighter. I respect that, you know.
How do you think someone develops that attitude or that perspective of not quitting if you get scored on? And also, is it something you can develop? Like, is it something you're born with? Is it something that you can build over time? Because I mean, if you're a black belt, you gotta think about it, man. You've been through it. You've been through a lot of tough training sessions. And what is it about, you know, going and getting a point scored on you that they just kind of fold?
I think it's possible for anybody to do it, but it's easier for some people. If your jiu-jitsu is bad, you're gonna develop other attributes, which is going harder. You know. But if you're super good, super flexible, and things don't usually happen to you, it's gonna be hard for you when, as soon as you approach that, if you're not used to that, it's gonna be tough mentally, you know. Like, oh my God. Even though it's not a big deal, it's only 2 points. But if that doesn't happen on practice and that doesn't happen, period, against you, you kind of wonder, man, am I really that good? You know? And if you do that, if you're wondering there on the big day, it might be tough for you to come back after that. And that's when you get tired. Man, I see so many people, like most people, they go to the tournament, they lose first round. They come back, they're like, man, I was tired. So I have to train more because I wasn't in shape. But that's not usually the case. Sometimes people didn't warm up well. Man, you warm up for 40 minutes on practice every day. You do the shrimps, you do the rows, you run. Sometimes you drill, you do the techniques, you do so many things. And then you start rolling. And then the first roll is always bad. The second one starts to, you know, get better. And then 45 minutes after you start practicing, that's when you're ready. That's when your muscles are ready. That's when your reactions are better. And then you go to the tournament, you start jumping. You know, you jump for 10 minutes, and then you go there and try to fight.
Yeah.
Of course, your heart is gonna race, but that doesn't mean you're not well trained. But you didn't warm up well,
right?
You gotta get
so and then if you're gonna do that again, right? And so, oh, okay, now I'm gonna train harder. You know, I'm gonna train better. Try to, you know, get back there and do better now. And then you come back, do the same thing. You get there, start jumping, put a little music that you don't hear every day on practice. You don't have no music or headphone when you go in practice. You know, you never tape your fingers. Now you on tournaments, you want to tape your fingers to look cool. You know, you don't usually have that gi, and then you put a new gi to, you know, you try everything new. You don't usually eat that kind of food, and now you're eating this specific food because it's going to be good for you to compete. So you're testing everything on the tournament day.
It's the wrong place.
Yeah. And then you think you're not well trained. You think you're not in shape. That's not the case. The thing is that you're doing wrong. And that happens a lot. So when you find yourself in a situation on the mat that people don't usually pass your guard, and then this person just passed your guard in 30 seconds, and you're wondering, oh my God, they passed my guard. The guy felt so strong. And then as soon as you start thinking, that's when you're going to get tired. But it's not your body, it's your mind, adrenaline and everything, stress. So yes, I think you can learn everything, but you have to put yourself out there and practice. You know, you have to understand that, man, you can always tap somebody out, and it's hard, especially at the highest level, but it's mine again, so you have to, of course you can learn that, but it's easier for some people and harder for other people,
Replicating the environment, I think.
Well,
you have to replicate it over and over.
See, I think that sometimes the issue is that people think that because they have, let's say, for instance, if you understand something, if you see something, it's okay. Like if someone, for instance, if I watch a technique, I can look at the technique and see the coach teach it and be like, well, I understand that. I don't know it, right? I haven't used it. You don't know anything. Right? Until you've actually used it, you don't know the technique. You understand how it works, but you don't know it.
It's theory.
Right. It's theory. Well, you see it. It's like, you just see that's what it is. And then like a lot of times we'll understand, like, for instance, people will read a book and it'll talk about something about how to deal with your emotions and negative emotions. Okay, great. But if you don't practice that in your daily life, right, where like, basically we all deal with shit every single day. If you don't deal with it, you don't really know it, right? So like you might know that, hey, I'm only down 2 points. It's not that big of a deal. And you understand that beforehand. But until you've been in the gym or until you've practiced it and actually dealt with it, you don't know it. Because those battles are every single day. You can deal with those emotions and you got to recognize them. And that goes back, like you were talking about, knowing yourself. Like, where are your weaknesses? Where are your strengths? We all got them. Maybe you are like, I've had guys that were like physical specimens and then mental, like they were weaklings mentally. And then they had to work, that was their game. They had to work there. Like the physical was fine, right? It was like just getting them not to break. And then it was like, likewise, sometimes you'd have guys that were so gritty mentally, but I'm like, dude, we just got to get you on a better diet and a lifting program. Like it's everybody's got their weaknesses and you've got to be, what's the word? Like you said, honest with yourself about where you're weak and put some energy there. And you've got to actually practice it. It's not about just like jiu-jitsu. Like you can take that idea, like how do you get better at jiu-jitsu? You practice. Guaranteed results there's no guarantee for anything, but practice is your only option. Right. So likewise, when you're going to go train your mindset or whatever, you got to look for opportunities. You got to put yourself in bad positions that are going to kick up the frustration just so you can deal with the mental side of it too. Yeah, that's funny. Like you were talking about the jumping around and stuff. I was talking on like an Instagram video one day and someone was like asking, like, what do you eat before the competition? Right. I'm like, the same thing I've been eating for the last, I was like, you don't want to change anything. You don't want to go in the day of the competition and change anything. Even like the warm-ups that I do, I try to like literally go through and if I can find a partner, we'll go through and grip fight and pummel and do everything. I'll do my same warm-ups that I do every single day. You try to keep as much going as possible. And like you said, you shouldn't step on that mat if you're going to compete without like a nice glaze of sweat on you. Going back to what you were talking about, the beginner mind, I had a funny experience because you were talking about like being a white belt at something. And then it reminds you about like what it's like to be brand new. As a coach, that's an interesting thing because a lot of times, like when we get good, we understand that we used to be really bad, but we forget what that was like. And I remember one time I went to a dancing lesson. It was a salsa lesson, right? Because one of the girls I used to date, she liked doing salsa. So we go salsa on like Thursday. It was Thursday nights. And so out salsa, and they had this thing where basically there was a circle of women and a circle of men around them, and they would just change partners. So you would dance with them for a minute, right? And then you would switch, dance with them for a minute and switch. And there was an uneven number. And then like, I remember like, this is my very first lesson. And then I'm by myself and I'm sitting there like, I don't know what the shit I'm supposed, like I felt so awkward. I felt so stupid because there's no one there. And I'm trying to air dance, and then the girl that I was dating at the time, she came over and started dancing with me. I was like, but I remember having this epiphany because I'm brand new at this thing. I feel so insecure. I'm nervous. I'm like, this is how all those people feel when they come into our gym. They're incredibly nervous. They're incredibly awkward feeling everything. I was like, oh, so this is what it's like again. It's like, it's been a while since I've had that feeling, That's an important thing to go do stuff that you suck at from time to time so that you can kind of reconnect with that.
100%.
Well, you almost feel like you're so concerned about what everybody else thinks.
And to think everybody's looking at you.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, man, they're looking at me like I'm stupid.
And nobody cares.
No, they don't.
But we think so.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think going back to it when you were saying, I think you were kind of talking about maybe some complacency, like just feeling good with where you are, and you don't have that strive or the desire to improve much, right? I mean, you won the world championship, 2018? Yeah. Did you feel like I've done it? I've accomplished it now. Like, did you ever have a feeling of like, what now? Like, what do I do now? Like, was it like do it again?
100%.
Was it?
Yeah, that's because when you win worlds, it doesn't start when you're warming up to compete. It starts 10 years before, when you put your first gi and, everything that happens and lead to that specific tournament. You expect that. You visualize that. You dream. You wake up and dream with that every single day. So when that happens, it's like, oh my God.
You're not ready.
You're not ready for that, and you go back home and you think, okay, so what about now?
What now?
And of course you can compare yourself to other people and say, man, some other guys, they won twice. They won 3 times. Some other people, they won 10 times. So you can do that again. You can, of course, you're gonna have that process of going through the thing and understanding, because at the same time you lost something. You won something big, but you lost too. So I felt empty a little bit because it was a big win. But it was a big loss too, because that desire is not there anymore. I mean, that desire is there, but
you lost your dream.
Yeah,
you had a dream.
Yeah,
and it's no longer there.
Expecting that thing, if you want to buy a nice car or if you want to buy something, one day it's there. You're like, oh,
I have it,
but I have to replace that with something else. The desire, the drive. So yeah, I feel that a lot, but not now. Now I kind of know already. Like it took me a year to understand. I was like, man, what about now? How do I train? Do I train differently because I'm a world champion now? Do I have to do something different? Do people expect something from me? On practice, are people going to be looking at me and, oh, I have to do like that, like this guy does, and it happens, and people are looking at you and thinking you example, and you're like, man, don't look at me, ask the coach, like it's crazy, man.
That's funny.
It's fun, but it's a pressure too, it's like, oh.
Well, and that's you said it right. Like there's an emptiness to the thing, because we chase after the thing, but really it's who we become along the way that's 100%. Important. Because like who you became to become that world champion is what's really important, because then you can go do whatever. If you're the person that builds a business that allows them to buy this really nice car, you might chase for the nice car, but the nice car is not what what you should be after. But then when you get it, like you said, you gain the thing, but then you lose the dream that you had. So now you got to figure out, all right, well, what now? And humans, we don't do so well when we don't have goals and desires. We turn into, like you said, there's even emptiness associated with it. You kind of almost get a little bit of depression, so to speak, because you're like, what am I supposed to do?
They have a little thing called depression post Olympics, where most athletes, they're going to suicide the year after Olympics.
Oh, wow.
Because it's a long wait. It's like 4 years. So if you won, or if you lost, now you have to wait another 4 years. And sometimes you did 3 Olympics already, 3 Olympic games. That's 12. So you have to wait 4 more to try to get a medal, or, so that's when a lot of athletes, they suicide, because like, man, even people who won, even people who wins, they feel like that too, man. Another 4 years, you have to start building up again. It's crazy. Yeah, and you have to be like, you can get ready for that. People can tell you, hey man, it's gonna feel like this, it's gonna feel like that, but you have to go through it. But it's fun, it's worth it, but it's crazy. You feel a little, oh my God, feel a little empty. That's the word, empty. Like, man, what am I doing now? It's fun, but it's a journey. You have to go through it.
What was that process for you like? What did you? It seems like, obviously physically, you did it. You won the world championship, right? So I mean, honestly, in most cases, whatever works, keep doing that thing. But mentally, you said, who am I? What am I doing? What do I do now? How did you start that process? I mean, did you go back? You won the world title, started training again. What did you do? What did you mentally have to go through? How did you
I had
seek?
a bad injury on my foot, so I had to heal that. And then after that, I just, like right now, after winning worlds and everything, I understood that everything is about the routine that you create. If you are trying to win worlds, if you are trying to be more flexible, if you are trying to lose weight, if you are trying to be whatever, to run your business better, if you're trying to be a better husband, a better son, a better friend, you have to create a routine and follow that thing. So I didn't understand that. I was like, man, there's no, like, I didn't understand. I was just doing everything that I could. But knowing that or not, you're creating a routine, that's going to lead you to get there or not. You make the decision regardless if you want to make the decision or not. And looking back, I was doing everything in my life. Every day I woke up, I got better at jiu-jitsu. I got better physically. I got tougher mentally to win worlds. Everything that I was doing. So I didn't have anything else that was priority in my life to accomplish. So now, every time I want to accomplish something, I'll sit down Sundays, organize my week, and be honest again. Man, where do I want to be in a year, 2 years? Is this thing relevant on my week? If you want to dance better, and if you're not practicing, or if you're going only once a week, you understand you can only be as good as somebody who trains or practice once a week. And I see that a lot of people, most people, they say, man, I really want to lose weight, man. I'm so fat. And then, okay, you're telling me that, but show me how your week looks like. Write down. Let's write down your week. And then you start writing down, where is your goal here in your week? And most people, they don't dedicate. They're going to say it. They're going to dream. They're going to follow all these people on Instagram. They're going to follow they're going to subscribe to so many YouTube channels about losing weight. They're going to know everything about food. Like you said, they're going to know about the food that they have to eat, the nutrients and everything. They're going to be walking books. They know everything about the goal they want to accomplish, but they are not doing it. And now it's easy for me to understand, when I'm talking to somebody, when people ask for my help or whatever, I don't ask what they want, I just, man, what are you doing throughout the week? How many days are you putting on work? And for me now it's easy, if I want to accomplish anything, if you want to be a millionaire, man, what are you doing every single day? And life is easier right now, but of course you have to prove to yourself that it's possible, that you can accomplish anything. And most people don't believe that. That's why they're gonna still be fat 20 years from now. Mm-hmm. They're gonna be fat for 20 years because they don't believe. They think that guy on Instagram is special. Man, the guy looks so nice. He's special, But the guy's out there working out every single day. He's eating good, good food. They sleeping 8-9 hours a day, and you sleep 4 hours a day. You eat bad every single day, and you are thinking the guy is special. The guy is special, man. My mom is like that. She was trying to lose weight. Mm-hmm. She was like, man, I'm getting. And she's 15 right now. She's 51. So she was like, man, listen, son, you're saying that, but I eat well. But I don't lose weight. Mm-hmm. I don't lose weight, like I have to have a surgery or something. I was like, Mom, don't tell me that. Like I'm a professional athlete. I know how human body works. You are human. You're still human, Yeah. So man, we're having this conversation, and then okay, forgot. I was like, man, if I want to keep a good relationship with her, we should not touch their
that's the
subject
thing.
anymore. Let's forget about this. And then a couple months later, I went there. I'm in the house, for a week. Mm-hmm. Man,
see what happens.
Man, she wakes up, man. She get like a big bag of bread, like Brazil people. They get bread every morning, man. big breads like this with butter,
Yeah.
cheese, ham, and everything. And she's eating, and I'm like, oh my God, she doesn't understand.
Yeah.
She really thinks that these people are special because they look nice when they're 50s. She's gonna walk with the dogs outside.
Sure.
But that's not exercising. You walking the dogs,
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'll be active, I walk the dogs. And I'm like,
you
oh
gotta
my
get that heart
God.
rate going a little bit.
I was like, oh my God, and that's the thing about accomplishing something big and having a podcast, telling people that, man, listen, there's nothing special about winning worlds. Just understand that the average is like most people take 12 years to accomplish that. If you see many, like the world champions, you see average 12 years training to accomplish. Are you willing to do that? I don't know. But you're still going to be alive in 12 years, right? And that's the biggest thing. Man, it's going to take a year for me to lose that weight. You're still going to be alive next year,
What do you want it to look like?
Yeah. You want to, like, man, next year, if you don't do anything, you're going to be just like that. You're going to be fat. I know it's going to take a long time. And then the question I ask myself all the time, how much it costs to accomplish something? And I ask people, let's say if you want to lose weight, how much it costs to live the rest of your life being fat? It costs even way more for you, for your family, for your body, for your kids, for your self-esteem and everything, right? So how much it costs to stay like that? It costs a lot for you to, of course, walk, run, work out, eat a little better. It's expensive, I know. But how much it costs to stay like that? And for me, now it's easy. But of course, I had to go through the process where I came from Brazil. I knew nothing. I didn't speak the language. I didn't even have the money to get my passport. I didn't have, in dollars, I would say 50 cents to get in the bus to go practice. Back in Brazil, I didn't. I'll have to get a bike and biking for 10 miles to the gym and come back. But I didn't have a bike. I have to ask, hey man, are you using your bike today? No, man, let me have it. I'm gonna go practice, And that's the biggest thing. I had to go through that process. And then, of course, get here, learn the language, change my visa, like everything. Accomplish the goal to sit here and tell people, man, listen, it's possible. You can do it. But there is a price, But the price is bigger. Like, it'll be way more expensive to stay there. It was hard. But it would be way harder for myself to just stay there and be the same guy forever, be just like my dad or my mom. Like, no problem about that. But I didn't want that to myself. I wanted to be different. I wanted to travel. I want to be somebody good with jiu-jitsu, and it takes a little bit. It's expensive, but you're still going to be here 12 years from now. And if you're still that fat guy, you're going to be, man, 10 years ago I was fat. 10 years ago I was saying the same thing, making the same excuses. Why don't you just change now? Why don't you go after your dreams? And we all have dreams, And again, people like that, they are empty. They're trying to buy more stuff. They're trying to, even that book we mentioned yesterday, Tribe, right? So people try to buy more stuff because they're empty. Man, go after your dreams, And your dream might be money. That's cool. But go after it, And it's funny, but now it's easier for me to understand that y'all sits on your routine, create your habits, write down your week, and be honest. Is this going to be enough for me to get where I want to be? Okay, so we all have 24 hours a day. What do I have to sacrifice here? But you have to write down and see. This is how my week looks like. Let me organize it better. Let me get one more workout. Let me go do my groceries on Sunday so I don't have to be eating McDonald's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday I'll have to go to the grocery store again, just to get something, to replace something that's missing. Man, it takes you 30 minutes to do that on Sunday. Your week is going to be better. Your life is going to be better. You know, you're not going to stress about making decisions and have to, oh man, I want to do that, but no. Oh, I want to do that, but no. Oh, I'm doing that because I have to do that. No, just organize yourself. You know, it's hard. Like I've been struggling with that too. But the more you do, the better you get, you know, and that's where I'm going to understand and see how your life is going to look like next year, the year after that, you know. That's it, man.
Yeah.
It's mental energy. I think you're not wasting it as much.
You
right?
don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. You can't afford to waste your time with stuff that you don't want to accomplish, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And again, regardless if you're doing this or not, you're making the decision. You know, you're making the decision. Regardless if you organize yourself and go after stuff that you want or not, you're making the decision, you know, to get or stay the same, remain the same.
Well, it's control. I feel like you feel like you have control over your life, right? Some people feel out of control. They feel victims. Like this is happening to me. I'm overweight or I'm poor or whatever.
Or somebody else is special. I think that's the biggest excuse.
Well, that is, yeah. It's like it's like
guy,
they got something.
This guy
I didn't.
likes that. The guy is like that because he was born rich. He was born, you know, with good genetics. So he's lean like that. Of course, there are some people that they won't get fat. They're gonna eat a lot and they blast.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't change anything for you.
It's kind of like you know, I have family members that go gambling, you know, and they'll go to like Las Vegas or something, right? And then when they get back, you'll hear them at family get-togethers and they talk about gambling, and they've already predetermined in their mind that they're going to lose money. Right. They
like
are
how much I'm going to lose. Right.
They already know they're going to lose money. And so when they get back, they have this like little powwow about who lost the most money. And you see people that are like that, right? You'll see people get around and, you know, the goal could be losing weight. The goal could be anything really. And a lot of people have predetermined that they cannot do this, that I'm not whatever, this and that, whatever the faulty sort of mental pattern is. And you can see sometimes where they get around other people that are like that, and they'll basically just have this, like this victimhood powwow where it's like, well, you know, I tried everything to lose weight and I just couldn't do it. You know, I tried to run this business and, you know, this, it's like they can come up with a million things and they'll just kind of like see who's the biggest loser out of the group, you know, and you're like, you've already predetermined, just like the people that go to Vegas, like you went into it thinking you're going to lose weight or you're not going to lose weight because you're not special, you know. And again, I'm not going to, like, there's nothing that I can do to look like you. Ain't happening. Right. That's all right. Like, you know, I'm not like, I used to be a big fat, chunky kid. I'm not, you know, I used to be though, but like, you know, you can look like the best version of you, you know, and like your life's not going to look like anybody else's life. If someone that's listening to this eventually becomes a world champion, they're not going to do it the way that you did it. Everybody's got their own path, but it reminds me of that conversation we were talking about yesterday more at lunch, where we were talking about like when we were younger, you know, both of us kind of grew up poor, and we would look at people with money and be like, those are bad people. They did something bad to be there. You know, like I remember my mom growing up, like she was like, Republicans are bad people. You know what I mean? Like, just because like, you know, this kind of thing. And I remember, you know, getting this faulty pattern in my head that these are bad people. Right. And then like, I was like all these guys are these Republicans are just, they're bad people and they're all about this, that, whatever. And then I remember one of my mentors who like literally went out of his way to help me and do things for me, whatever. I remember, I just remember that story yesterday when we were talking about, I was like, oh, I remember that. It's funny how that stuff kicks up from your memory. We went into, we were in his house one time and hanging out, and after he had just taken me through and showed me some houses he had bought and how much he sold them for and like the money that he made, all the business stuff that he was into, giving me free like information, just helping a kid out. And then I see this little like postcard, and it had like a picture of like, had a picture of George W. Bush on it. And it was like, you know, said, thank you for being a Republican, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, he's a Republican, you know, like, But it's funny because we absorb that stuff. We absorb people's negative stuff, and again, it becomes stuck in your brain, and you have to be really intentional about what you choose to believe is true. And like you were talking about, like with your schedule, you need to be intentional about how do you want your life to look? Because you can say, I have no control. You can say that, but you have control. Every one of us has control.
And that's a decision.
Yeah, that's a decision.
You're making a decision of not like, I'm not going to have no control.
Right. You know, what do you, what kind of, like, I was thinking about this the other day. I actually shared a post in one of my emails. It was from Lao Tzu. And it's the idea that he says, watch your actions. They become your habits. Watch your habits because they become your character. Watch your character because it becomes your destiny, right? So like you're saying, if I know your habits, I know who you're going to be next year, the year after, everything else. What have been some helpful habits for you over the years? And again, sometimes I know that all of us, sometimes we get going, sometimes they get derailed, we get back on them, you know, things like that, because we're all guilty of that. But what have been some maybe useful habits to you, either, you know, training on the mat or even off the mat, things that have been useful to you?
Yeah, in Jiu-Jitsu, the biggest thing for the last 3 or 4 years is the warm-up. The biggest thing, you know. Now I'm not getting hurt as much because I just, you know, I'm warming up, I'm activating my body, you know, and stuff that I didn't do in the past. And I was always training hard. I was always trying to do my best. But man, if you don't create a routine where you put yourself in the zone, same thing with you talked about yesterday. You get in the gym, you still have the problems from work, from family, from everything else. And then you go to the locker room. Some people are going to be walking in the gym. And that's something that I used to do. I'm going to put my gi on at home, or I'll get in the gym with a uniform already. So now you walk to the mat and then you start talking to people and stuff. And then you warm up and you start practicing. But now I have like a ritual where I walk to the gym. Now I put my backpack in the same place. Boom. I open it. I see my gi there. It's like I fold my own gi. Like I hang my gis at home.
Yeah.
I fold it to put in the backpack.
Yep.
I open the backpack. I unfold my gi. And that here, I'm telling myself, man, I'm getting ready to practice. You know, I'm putting myself on that zone. So I open my gi, I open my belt, you know, I make my supplement, my little thing that I put like 2 liters. I don't know that in ounces. I think it's like
2 liters. We use liters.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put that on my big bottle, put the supplements, you know, shake it. I have this little ritual where I'm getting ready for something. So as soon as I get on practice, as soon as I get on the mat, I'm ready. My mind is there. I'm not thinking about my problems. I'm not thinking about my family. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm thinking about, man, I'm here. Now I have to warm up. And then you go there, warm up, and then your focus, your attention, everything is better, sharper. But if you just walk in the gym with your gi on already, it's not bad, but you now are going to warm up, but you're not there yet. It's going to take 15, 20 minutes for you to get yourself in the zone. But you warming up, your warm-up is important. So if you are not doing that properly, now you're going to the drills, learning the techniques. And sometimes that's not going to be enough. Sometimes you're still not there. So the details, your structure is saying, man, grab here like this. And because you're not there yet, you're going to grab like this, palm up instead of palm down. And then you're going to be practicing the wrong technique, the wrong grip for another 15 minutes. If nobody, tells you that, man, that's wrong. So because we're not there for the warm-up, now the drilling part is not as effective too. You're going to roll. But now when you are trying to do a technique against your training partner, you are trying a technique from last week that you didn't learn right. And your hand, instead of being like this, is like that. And now you are like, people are passing your guard and you're frustrating, and that's why the biggest thing for me is the warm-up. So I create a routine where I put my gi on. I tell myself, man, I'm here. Now, what do I have to do? Put my gi on. Okay, tie my belt. Okay, make my supplement. Okay, go to the practice. Warm up. Like be here. Like I literally tell myself, man, be here. Because sometimes you're there, but you're not there. You're thinking about everything else, and it's easy for you to be thinking about something else. But when you're there, man, it feels different. It feels better. You know, man, I'm doing this. You know, and you can feel your blood rushing through your veins and everything, and you're like, man, I'm becoming a better person. My body's getting better and everything. So it's exciting. And then you're excited about warming up. But if you don't understand what you're doing, you're like, man, I have to warm up again. Oh man, I have to learn another technique. I don't need no techniques, and I have to roll. And that means the roll is only 20 minutes, but you're practicing for an hour, 90 minutes. So you're wasting all this time because you're thinking about something that's going to happen in an hour from now. You know, so my biggest thing, man, for the last 3 years is the warm up. Put yourself there. And when I say warm up, is not just for your body, but for your mind too, for everything, you know. And then you're gonna notice you're not gonna get hurt as much because you're paying attention. You know, you're not gonna be surprised by techniques, and you're not gonna be the person who your instructor is saying, man, pay attention to this detail. And you're not gonna be there paying attention. You're not gonna be that person that doesn't understand the techniques, that doesn't get better in 6 months because you're not present, you're not there. You know, and I'm not saying that you have to take it so serious. Like, no, you're still having fun, but it's just a way to, okay, that's the part of the day that I have fun. You know, that's not a big deal. I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I don't want to be a professional, but it's still, you don't want to be professional, but you don't want to be that guy who, you know, in 2 years you don't get promoted.
Right.
In 2 years you don't get better.
Nobody wants to suck.
Yeah, just because you're having fun, that doesn't mean you can't do it right. You can. You can do better. And you can be honest to yourself and say, man, I can do better. This, here. And then the more and then it becomes a habit, it becomes you. And then when you with your wife and you can give a little more attention to her, you can be a better husband. You're gonna, oh man, I better be present here. You're eating with a person, like you're thinking about all this stuff, but man, it's important.
Eating with the person, and you're like,
yeah,
what are you saying? Oh, I'm not even listening to you. Checking on your phone and stuff.
And then you're gonna be better. You're gonna do better at being present, and then you're gonna see the person that you fell in love to. Like, man, I fell in love to that lady, but I don't get to, you know, interact as much because I have so many things going on. But if you have, man, a good hour with a person, and then it's there, you know, you have time. You're gonna sit down and eat, right? So, man, how are you? You know, ask people and then learn about them. And again, it's a decision, you know. So that would be the best thing for me, you know, being present. And I learned that by, you know, warming up and getting my body prepared for practice, you know, and that's the best thing. And now, man, on the weekends, sometimes I was even telling a guy, your student, yesterday, he was like, man, yeah, I have mobility problems, you know, my hips, I'm always cramping and stuff like that. I was like, man, sometimes it's Sunday, I'm at home and I'm doing the warm-ups, you know, the mobility stuff, you know, I'm at home, I'm doing that. And then I feel the progress, you know. So I'll say mobility, warming up, you know, that would be the best thing that I learned in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and that's whenever I hear about like rituals, because I do the same thing. Like I have a ritual of, like you said, even like when I go to competitions, it's like I feel like I'm unfolding my armor. I'm about to put it on, you know. It puts you into a certain headspace, and the idea of being present, right? I think about this sometimes when I lift weights, where, like, for instance, a set of lifting, right? Like 12 repetitions. You know, it's maybe a minute long, right? It's not very long, and it's not that big of a deal. It's only a minute, right? But you think about, like, and then your workout is a collection of, you know, a collection of small minutes, you know. And I'm thinking, like, like you could see someone that could just scroll endlessly for like 20 minutes. Yeah. That was 20 sets of lifting weights, right? Like we love these big ideas, but we lose track of small things. Like you said, like just being present in the gym. You've got, like, we're going to be drilling for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. It's not a long time. The warm up, it's only 20 minutes. It's not a long time. You could spend it actually being present in there and really giving it everything you got, or you could just be, your mind could be towards the workout at the end. Like, oh, I'm just waiting to roll. And, I was driving home the other day and I was thinking about this, like small stuff's so important, like all that small stuff, the 1 minute set of repetitions, the 20-minute warm up, or even when we're doing a grip, the grip from this to this can make or break everything. This stops them. This gets you past, right? Just a change. When you're driving down the road, if you're going down like a 2-lane road, cars coming at you, you're going this way, both going maybe 50 miles an hour. Like 3 feet over, you're dead. Small, super small, right? You got this little yellow line in the middle that's like, that's it. This imaginary little barrier that we all sort of understand. And so we don't do this, but it's small, little small thing. I mean, you look at your phone for 1 second and drift up, you're dead, head on collision, right?
Or you can kill somebody.
You can kill someone, right? Both, all bad, but little small thing, And so you think about like just something as simple as like, look, just warm up 20 minutes. Put your full effort into that 1 minute or that 3 minutes of drilling, or you've got a 6-minute round, you're all in. And then you can take, like you said, that other stuff. I think that's a good idea. Like being present, like you're with your woman, be with her. You're with your husband, be with him. You're with your family, be with him. And then when it's time to do other stuff, be in that other stuff. But whatever you're doing, be in it rather than like everywhere, which is essentially nowhere. Because those small things, those few minutes, they're really important. They count. And they add up to everything, all the big stuff. So like you're saying, I think it goes back to your habit thing. Someone wants the world championship. Oh, what's your daily schedule look like? The day, what's your hour by hour schedule look like? Are you doing something? Like, are you working towards that? Because if you're not, well, don't expect that to come, because it's all these little things that make this big thing happen down the road.
Do everything with intention. Everything you were talking about. There's an intention to your mobility work, right? You want to get yourself physically better, but you're mentally getting yourself in the right place. And there's a lot of like the type of warm up you do, for example, more of a dynamic, more of an active muscle activation. Those are things like that's actually neurologically, even though you're intentionally doing it, it's neurologically telling your body it's time to, we're getting ready to do something that's going to be a little bit stressful, right? Versus you go and you do these long holds and then you feel like you're tired afterwards. When you do a warm up, it doesn't have to be these long holds. It's got to be a dynamic thing where there's in and out. There's activation, activate the glutes, release. And then we're also breathing with it. It's like almost like a meditation in a way, like an active meditation, because you're incorporating your breathing with it. There's so much going on there. Like you're prepping your body for activity. And so when you do that, the muscles are ready to fire. They're prepared. It's not like I try to warm up. I don't divulge, and I know better. I just don't put enough time into it. I need more time to do it, and I need to prepare. Maybe get to class early, do some stuff on my own, and then do the class warm-ups. But I always take the first roll as a light roll for me now when we're actually after technique, just because it helps me get my mind around what we're doing. So I usually take somebody that's not going to really push me too hard, just so I can get my brain and my body around what I'm about to do, and then get harder rolls after that. But
do you use the little machine gun?
I sometimes do. I think it's good for I think it's good just to kind of stimulate the muscle. It can help a little bit. I think a lot for blood flow, and also just like the tactile, just the touch. I think it really is what it does for you. Is it going to help everyone? No. But it can kind of stimulate with blood flow and things like that. It's like, it's also stimulating your body a little bit. So
it can be another ritual too, right? Yeah,
it can be a ritual. It can be what works for you, right? It doesn't mean you're going to massage gun, you're going to fix your broken body, right? You're not. But you do all these other things. But you do that, but you also do all these other things.
It's another ingredient, right?
It is if it works for you.
I see.
But there's all
this every day. I did it this morning.
Machine gun.
Yeah. I bring it everywhere.
The thing is that it's a piece. It's like people think I'm going to get this massage gun and it's going to fix my pain. That's going to be the
secret, right? That's the biggest secret.
Yeah. It's because they don't want to do the work.
It's a tool in your toolbox, right? It's just one thing you add in, and it helps you because your body's already primed. And it's receptive to it, right? It's not.
And that's my biggest problem, even with marketing, right? Because when you're trying to sell and technique online or something, not even online, when you're trying to sell something to somebody or that's going to help them. But people don't want one ingredient. They want the secret.
Secret.
You know?
Well, and that's the marketing. You see people do that. That's like, guys, if you want to learn these secrets, you're like, there.
And it's bad because people believe.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as the person who is going to help them, as a guide, right? You're like, man, should I do that too? Because people want to buy the secret.
Mm-hmm.
You can sell what they want and give them what they need, right?
Yep.
Because like if I buy what I want, but as soon as I get it, I realize, oh, I don't need that. Okay, so let me find another secret to buy. Or I can buy something that I want, and then maybe I don't get the exact same thing that I wanted. Maybe it's kind of like that, but it's not quite the same. But then I realized, oh man, that's what I needed. That's what I needed. That's awesome. You know, but that's the thing. This person, if they understand that, now they're going to stop looking for secrets and they're going to start looking for the details, like another detail, another piece of knowledge. Or they're going to say, okay, that's what I needed. But let me try to find the secret. and that's the thing. Like there is not one grip. One grip is also important, but it's not just the grip that's going to make you, apply the technique and be effective. So that's the thing that's hard for me now, as somebody who's trying to help people. It's hard because a lot of times if you tell them, man, there is no secret, they're going to be, oh man.
Well, this guy over here is telling me there's a secret. I'll go listen to him.
You know what?
Yeah.
Okay, man. Let me get a secret from this other guy. It's tough too.
It's there's a dilemma there because you have and Chewy, you can probably I learned so much from you about the marketing side of things, and how do you appeal to people, right? How do you appeal to their needs in a way that you feel good about, right? That doesn't mean that you're not. We always talk about like snake oil. You're not selling this magic thing that it's like. Were you showing me all the ads and stuff, like martial arts ads or something? Or I was seeing some of these crazy martial arts ads that were like from like the 80s or 70s, and they were like, this is the secret death technique and all this stuff, and buy this but none of it's real. But you get people to buy this thing. So what's the secret? The secret is there is no secret. But how do you appeal to people's needs and desires and also help them? And I think that's like an ethical dilemma. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it can still be done. You have to be a little bit more sophisticated with it. There's always low hanging fruit, so to speak, with marketing, right? So like, for instance, you could be a trash talker. Trash talking is like the low hanging fruit. It's the easiest way to get people's attention.
Sure.
Now it can bite you in the ass because as soon as things don't go so well for you, people are going to be loaded up and ready to tear you up. Right, but you can do that. You can be the giant troll that's through their thing, or you can also do things where you develop good relationships with people, and and you help them out in a better way. And again, that's more of a slower process, but it's a long-term thing. So again, you can do it in lots of different ways, and you can market products. But I think when you talk about the secret stuff, it goes back to the thing where people just they don't trust in themselves. They don't trust in the process, so they don't think that they can do it, and they don't trust in the process of practice. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right? Like, for instance, if you're a rider, what do you got to do? You got to get up and go ride every day. I mean, that's what you have to do. Like, there's no way around it. Like, you can have all these cool techniques, but you still have to get used to using them. Like over the years, like, you meet all these different guys and stuff, and you learn techniques from them. Well, it's great, but now you got to use them. I mean, the black belt could show you the exact techniques that they use, and you still got to use them, and you got to practice them. And it might take you 5-10 years to like be able to actually use it on the same level that they've been using it, because they've been practicing for 5 or 10 years with it. I mean, there's just no way around it. And but people, a lot of times they give up their own power, their own strength. And so therefore they look for things to fill that void, and they think that there's something magical out there that exists. This is where magical diet pills and A lot of the fad diets come in because it's like, oh, like I've tried everything. This is the diet that I'm going to do. And people love, for instance, with secrets, people love easy rules. This is why, and again, if you're on one of these diets, it's perfectly fine. Just understand what it is, right? Like they do work, but like you get the diets where it's like, okay, carnivore, just eat meat. Okay. I mean, there's some other things you can eat, some butter and stuff like that, but just eat that. Oh, good. Easy. Or, hey, like you're vegan, don't eat meat, don't eat any animal products. Cool. I've got a nice, easy line. There's Atkins, right? No carbs. Okay, great. Keto, no carbs. It's a lot easier than saying, okay, well, we can eat a multivariate diet. We'll have to count our macros a little bit, understand what foods we're getting in. We're going to do some nutrition timing. So we need to eat these foods before these workouts and these things. Oh, that's fucking complicated, right? It's like, well, it's like, yeah, but it's like, it'll take time to get used to that, but it can have a lot of benefits if you do it. So again, it's just one of those things. It's an approach. So if you can give someone like nice, easy, like put together ideas and say, hey, I got a secret for you, it's alluring. But and sometimes you can, like you said, you can package up what they need and you can put it into that. Like, okay, like this is actually what you need, but I'm just gonna say it's this, and I'm gonna give you what you need anyway. Like it's so like a white belt comes in like, oh man, I want to learn the berimbolo or something. All right, yeah, man, let me show. I'll get to that. Let me show you how to do this. This is called a scissor sweep. Like it's like, this is what you need right now. Like you don't even know how to do a full sweep. You don't even know how to do a guard sweep yet. So let's try this.
But how do you get them to buy in? Because it's not this flashy, cool thing. Like everyone wants to hit the berimbolo where you're inverting and doing all this stuff.
So here's what happens. They have no chance in hell in hitting a berimbolo, right?
Yeah.
So when you actually care about someone, you're like, look, do this. Once they hit one of those sweeps you showed them, because it actually worked, because it was good for them where they're at, then they're like, okay, all right. So that's what we need to do. I need to listen to this guy because he just gave me something and it worked. So he probably knows what he's talking about.
And it's about the self-knowledge again. Like, are you going to feel good about selling something that's not going to help the person just to make money? Are you going to feel good about that? Some people will. Some people are like, man, if I'm $10,000 richer tomorrow, I don't care about what I'm selling. Some people are just like that. They don't care.
Yeah.
As long as you're giving me your money, whatever. You figure out.
Yeah.
You bought it. I sold it to you. Figure out. Or you can be the kind of person who is like, man, I really care about that person because I know that money, like the person had to work for so many hours to pay that thing, to give me that money. So I really appreciate what they're doing. So I really want to give value,
Yep.
to like as a return of the investment. If you're that kind of person, that's when you have to work a little harder, think a little more, understand the person better, to understand the needs. It's about, again, self-knowledge. Are you willing to sell something that's not going to help a person just to make money? Some people will, some people won't. There's nothing wrong about that because the person is buying. So there's no wrong. You're selling, they buying. That's not wrong. But as a person, as a black belt, as a jiu-jitsu guy, as a marketer, are you going to feel good about that? Again, self-knowledge. I know that I'm not the kind of person that's going to feel good about something. Like if somebody buys my product now and in a year or two, they say something, oh man, I bought it. It was a garbage product, And it's the truth because they can say that. And I know, okay, man, you're saying that, but did you practice? Did you drill the technique? Did you try? Okay, so that I don't want to hear too, But if they saying something that's the truth, are you going to be able to sleep at night? Are you going to feel good about that? I understand too that people who make a lot of money, sometimes they don't care. They're like, whatever. It's about the money. So you have to understand what it's about. What is that about? It's about the money. It's about helping people, or it's somewhere here, Again, you have to know yourself enough. If you know, man, I don't care about people, I just want trying to make money. Okay, so go there and sell the secrets for everything. Write a nice headline, write a nice copy, and it's going to work. It's there because of that,
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. So we Eugene and I talked about this the other day. it was based on something that happened last week or whatever. But what do you think about, about black belts? Do you think that, like, for instance, if you're a black belt, do you think that it should help you be a better person? Do you think you should be a better person if you're a black belt in martial arts? Or do you think it's just one of those things where that's a personal thing? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know I've seen people where they've said, oh man, if you're a black belt in martial art, you need to be a better person. Other people are like, no, so I wonder what your thoughts are on it.
It depends. It depends on the way you see jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. Is it a sport? Is it a martial art? For some people, that's just a sport. If it's a sport, do whatever. If it's just about winning, beating people up, okay, do whatever. But if it's that's the thing that helped me to change my life. That's a martial art. That's like a journey. That's like a lifestyle. Now I think you should be looking for a better version of yourself. Always. You're never gonna get there. You're always gonna have something to improve. Mm-hmm. But if you've been doing that for 10 years, man, you should at least be, a decent human being. At least. If you've been doing that for 10 years, and if you think you're always right and everybody's wrong, man, maybe you're doing something wrong. Like, you're gonna be wrong, and that's okay. So yeah, I think, like, I see jiu-jitsu as a martial art. So that's, yes, I think you should be looking for the better version of yourself always. As a jiu-jitsu person, man, people are gonna be looking at you. If you do martial arts, if you're a purple belt and there is a fight over there, people are gonna look at you. Man, don't you train? Are you not gonna do anything? So people are looking for leadership. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing jiu-jitsu and people know, if people in your family, they know you've been training jiu-jitsu, you're a purple belt, you already have that responsibility. It's on you. So you have to make the decision where people are going to follow what you do. If you run, man, the guy's a purple belt, he's running away, I better run too. And if you be, man, let's stop the fight. People, okay, let's watch, So I think, yes, jiu-jitsu is a martial art. For me, mm-hmm. That will never become a sport. That will never become something that just about beating other people up. Mm. It's not. Otherwise, I would never appreciate the coral belts, because they're in a point where they don't beat people up anymore. They're 50s, 60s, 70s. But do you think they're nothing just because they can't beat you up anymore?
Yeah.
Are you not going to sit down and listen to what they're going to say just because they're older? No, they're very important. They are special. You want to sit down and listen to what they're going to say. You respect them. So that's why I don't think it's just a sport. It's something bigger. Of course, if you beat people up, that's cool. If you can do that, sure. If you can win tournaments and gold medals, awesome. But if you don't use that to benefit other people, as an example that you are now, man, you're winning big tournaments. Regardless if you won that or not, people are looking up to you. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to think it's not your responsibility just because you didn't ask for that. I don't think that's smart, You got that. Like, now you there. People look up to you. It's your responsibility. It doesn't matter if you won that or not. It comes with it, That's what I see. That's how I see. Mm-hmm. How do you see it?
I see it very much in the same way. I think that, and I said this on the podcast the other day, like, it changed me as a person. And so therefore, it's not something as simple, like, for instance, the sport aspect, this competing. It's something that I do, right? It's something that I do within jiu-jitsu, but it's not all that jiu-jitsu means. Like, if I could never do another jiu-jitsu competition, I'd still train to be around the people. And also, in a situation where I am now, I'm in a leadership position. I feel like, for instance, I was telling Eugene this the other day. I feel like I've had this since I was younger, since I was a young adult. There's a guy in my head of who I want to be. I'll never become him, because as I get better, he becomes even loftier. He becomes even better. And it's like, I'll never get as good as this guy. But there's a guy in my head that I imagine myself to be. And a lot of times when I engage in behaviors or I'm faced with challenges, I kind of think about like, is this how he would react? How would he react? And there's times where I remember like, when I was a coach, it could be simple things like maybe a white belt is wrong with him and he kicks me in the face. My instinct is to get angry, like, like I want to, don't do that. Kind of get mean. Then I'm like, and then it's like, stop. It's like, breathe. Did he mean to do it? He didn't mean to do it. Why don't you give him some guidance? Probably needs it. Probably didn't know what he was doing. Show him what he did, help him. Or there's times where like, we have people that look to me like as a role model. And I know this, right? It just is what it is. They look to me a role model or a mentor of sorts. I feel like I have to be a better person because of that, because I have to be able to lead. And if you lead, it means you're out in front and you're leading by example, not telling other people what to do. I don't want to tell people what to do. I want to be able to just say like, listen, here's my ideas. Here's what I'm doing. You do what you want to do. But I think that a lot of times monkey see, monkey do kind of thing, where when we look at other people, we listen to what they say, but we pay more attention to what they do. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, I think it was something to the effect of, your actions speak so loud that I can't hear what you say. So when you do that, then your actions really you have to be on it and you have to be mindful of them. And so for me, I think that, jiu-jitsu it's given me a chance to where when you train, when you compete, when you do things, you get anxiety, fear, frustration, anger, envy, because you're jealous sometimes, all the kinds of crazy emotions come through jiu-jitsu. And they stir it up. They bring it up to the surface, because a lot of times we can be nice people. We can keep our face on together and everything's nice. But then the minute we're faced with challenges, how do we react? And it's in those moments where then you have a chance to get better. You become a better person, not just on the mats, but also like, how did I deal with fear? Did I get scared? Did I back away? Or when I was challenged with something, how did I deal with it? And so I think I am of the philosophy that you should try to become a better person within it and use it as a means to do that, as well as growing your physical, because again, we only have a small window relatively of our athletic prime, but the other things that we gain from trying to become a better person, because we're all messed up people, we're all broken and flawed, but that striving for trying to become a better person, that stays with us for a much longer time. Right? Because if you're saying, well, if our physical prime tops out at maybe 40, like in the 30s is when your physical prime, like in late 20s, 30, that's it. Then you start to go downhill. Well, then you've got 40, 50, 60, 70. And there's tons of times where as you get older, you'll be able to help mentor younger people, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it can be a beautiful thing to help people out, because it's useful, especially in our society today. It's something we need. And so I think it's worthwhile. It's a worthwhile pursuit to do it. And I personally wouldn't promote a black belt if I thought they did not have some of those values in them, because you're going to represent me and that's what I want to be. And you're going to represent this gym and you're going to be this guy that people are going to look up to. Like you said, whether you want them to or not, they're going to look up to you. What kind of example do you set? Because you're a leader, whether you want to be a leader or not, you're now a leader because of what you've done. So.
Every person on that wall, I'm not going to speak for myself, but you saw the wall of black belts, right? Yeah. When you get your black belt, I got mine in February. You look up on that wall and you see people, and man, you're proud. First of all, you say, I'm a jiu-jitsu black.
That's
Some
a great
people
idea.
Say,
that's a great idea, by the way.
You say like
when I have a gym, I'll do that too.
Yeah. That was
the shoe thing.
Oh, what's that?
The shoe, like putting the shoes like that.
Yeah, so he loves that we put the shoes away from the door. So when you walk in, there's no shoes on the door.
You don't see the mess.
So
because in a lot of gyms, when you walk in, you see a lot of shoes. Like let's say if you never trained jiu-jitsu before, and then you see the nice mat, the nice wall pads, nice, everybody's dressing well, but then you see so many shoes, on the side of the mat. Mm-hmm. And that's messy, I don't like to see that. I'm a black belt.
So when you walk in,
I've been training forever. I don't like to see that mess. I've been training forever. Imagine a person, who is just walking the gym and try to, get more discipline for their kids and everything, and they see that mess. So what he did on his gym, if you're watching, so he created a way where you can walk into the mat from the front door. So you have to kind of go around and from the back of the mat, you can there put your shoes there and walk on the mat. So it's so nice. Like when I have a gym, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I'd like to take credit for all of the stuff about keeping the gym nice, but unfortunately, a lot of it has to go to Joe. Like, because like, you know, for instance, like, you know, me, I grew up in like mat rooms, and I'm like, whatever, we got mats, it'll be great. And, you know, Joe would come in, he'd be like, man, this looks like a frat house in here. We need to clean this stuff up, you know? And so Joe's a big one for, as far as keeping the gym, like he'll have some ideas to make it. Cause, you know, for me, what I started with was like, you know, small little mat space in a little place. So, you know, every time he gets, I was like, hey, this looks great. But Joe come from like more of a traditional gym background where everything looks nice, it has its place, which is a good thing, because then he comes in, he's like, it's like, if we're going to charge, you know, more money than a regular gym, we got to make this place look good. We got to make this. So let's do this, that, whatever. Let's put new paint there. Let's do all this stuff. And he's done a good job of making the gym like look nice, so that when you come in, it has a very pleasant, you know, experience right when you walk through the doors, you know.
And that's the same thing we say. You're gonna sell what people want. And give what they need.
Right.
As soon as they buy, they're going to see all that mass behind.
You can have the best jiu-jitsu in the world, the best people, but then they see the shoes, like, this place is dirty, I'm out of here. You know? Yeah, right.
But now you're selling what they want, and you give what they need. Like, shoes are not going to be bad for you. They're not doing anything bad. You know, it's actually good to have your shoes there, because as soon as you step out, you put your shoes on, you know. But at least when they first walking, you know, they don't see that.
Yeah, it's a nice it just gives it the appearance that when you step on that mat,
because
that's a difference.
Arts, you know, you have this thing like, man, martial arts is like discipline. Everything's gonna be organized. Like, we know it's not like that. We know, like, black belts, we all crazy. We all forget stuff. We lose stuff. You know, we're all crazy. We know that. But as soon as you walk in the gym, you don't want to realize that right away. You know, you want to take, you know, a couple of years to realize that. So now I've been traveling everywhere. And that's a great thing about, you know, being an athlete. That's a good thing, because I go everywhere. I go every country. I go every city. I train with poor people, rich people. I train with sheiks, you know, everything. And everywhere you go, you learn something nice about, you see every gym you go, you say, man, I like this about this gym. You know, I want my gym to be like that. And then you see the students, you say, man, I want my students to be educated like that. I want this to happen. So it's cool, man. Everywhere you go, you learn something. And those two things were the best for me. And those are gonna be things that I'm gonna do, you know, in my gym. Yeah.
Well, it's a reflection, right? Of the gym owners or the coach. Like Joe is one of the owners of the gym. He's you know, he has his place, his things that he does really well. And then Chewy's got things that he does very, very well. And that's kind of one of the things, like when you get up on that wall, you kind of look up there. When you get your black belt, like you look up there and you're like, you see these people, and you have to have earned a certain amount of respect to be on that wall. I feel like, you know, we talk about promoting people and maybe don't have the best moral fiber, or we kind of talked about that. And a lot of those people are a reflection of, you know, the values that Chewy sees, I think, and that we all share, that we will stick with a gym, stay in that gym. Because for me, I got to drive across town to get there. There's 4, 5, 6 different gyms between there and there. And I've got kids, I've got a wife. I could use an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, right? Extra on days that I don't go train, but I go. I wouldn't go anywhere else. That's because of the environment, and that's a reflection of the owners and Chewy and the coaches there. And that's kind of the thing, you know, if I could give you, I don't know if I could ever give you any advice, but that you're going to attract, you know, to 100%. Yourself what you are, right? And if you're a shitty person, or you know, you don't have certain values, you're going to probably attract those people. Those people will stick around.
What if you get into a fight with one of your black belts? Are you going to take it out on the wall?
Get in a fight.
What if they do something that you don't like, and they end up leaving or something? Are you going to take them out?
If they left, you know, that's the thing, that it would always be so sad. And eventually, I know it'll happen probably, but it's the thing that would hurt me the most. Because like, if one of the guys, like if one of them said, you know, hey man, I want to open up a gym. Cool. Let's plan it out. Let's set it up somewhere in town so it's not competing, and let me help you be successful. Right. Like, I would love to help.
I've been doing this.
I would love to help you. Let me show you a few things that I've learned, so that you don't have to have the road that I had. Right. That would be a great thing. you know, if they like were really like nasty about it, well then yeah, like I would take them down because they probably wouldn't want me to have association with me anyway,
or try to take your students from you, you know, that kind of thing. Do it the right way, right? Yeah. Like that's not something you hear from a coach that someone's like, oh, well, you're probably going to take some of my business, whether you like it or not. In Louisville, in jiu-jitsu, there's students. You may take some business, but think about that. It's like, let me help you. Well, why would you not want to be a part of that environment, right? Somebody's willing to look out for you. That's the difference. It's not like I'm not competing against you. We're supporting jiu-jitsu. We're supporting
we're supporting each other.
Exactly.
I mean, like I wouldn't go help I wouldn't go help another like gym owner who wasn't like one of my close friends or whatever.
Sure.
Like, I'm not going to go to.
No, I get it.
You know, but like one of my guys, whatever we need. Like, you know, I was saying this like to someone, like a lot of times, like I don't give to a lot of, like there are certain charities I'll donate to. If someone's on the street, I won't give them money very often, anything like that. But if one of the guys in the gym needs something, oh bro, like what do you need? I got you. Like, you know, like I had a young guy who was like, he was fighting and he needed some money. Cool, I got you, dude. And, you know, he's like, I'll pay you back. So don't worry about paying me back. Just keep training. Just keep going.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, because I'm in a position where, you know, I've got a couple nickels I can rub together. And I think one of the cool things that, like, you know, for instance, I'm not necessarily like thinking of motivators. I'm not always money driven. The idea of more money doesn't really, it's like, it's money. But it's like, what can I do with that money? You know, like, hey, I could sponsor you to go to a competition. So I have guys who would like to compete, who would be really good if they got to compete more, but they don't have the money. I could help them. You know, I could sponsor them to do so. I have done that before. Like, I mean, we've sent guys that, I remember we had a guy who came into the gym and, you know, he had just got out of prison trying to get things together. And, you know, fast forward a few years later, he competed I think he took
he got third at
Worlds as a blue belt and did pretty well. He had like about several tough matches, you know. And then now he's like, he just started like a little handyman company. So
he's awesome.
He's doing well for himself. Right. So it's like, that's the cool stuff that you can do with that, where it's like it can be something where you can do that stuff with it. So for the people that I come in contact with, I'll do whatever I can within reason for you. You know, so again, it's like I wouldn't help someone else just blindly with their business, but one of my guys, like, well, of course I want you to be successful. You know, like I still talk to like Chad and stuff. He'll call me up sometimes and say, hey man, like this is going on at the gym. What do you think about this? Whatever, you know. So of course I'm going to help him, you know, because it's like, why wouldn't I? It's like, that's just a natural extension. I'll do whatever I can for those people.
Yeah. If you don't understand what we're talking about, he has every black belt from the gym. They have a picture on the wall. You know, when you walk in the gym, just usually see Helio Gracie, Carlos Gracie, and that's it. He has every black belt after him, you know, and that's so cool that his gym has all the faces, you know. If you're a black belt under him, you're going to have a picture on his wall, and that's so cool. I like that a lot.
We value it as a black belt. You value it. It's like a way to commemorate. I mean, in a way,
and eventually not going to have enough space.
I know.
We're already going to the other half.
Yeah, we just promoted 2 this past week. So one guy's had like 16 years on
How
the
many
mats.
have? How many black belts?
I think we're at like in the gym, like at the gym, and everybody that I promoted, including Chad, Flop, and Rich that are gone. I think we're right around like 16. You know, and all those guys.
And now it's gonna be like every time it's gonna be faster, you know, because they have so many brown belts.
Yeah,
it'll be more and more and more.
I wonder how many of us started at white belt, like that have gone all the way through
at Derby City.
Yeah.
So because a lot of them are transplants, right? That came
Me too.
In like white belts, blue belts, whatever. Yeah. So I mean, technically, you were still white belt.
I was.
So
I was a green belt.
Adam was blue.
Adam was blue.
Flop. Huber. I mean, so it's about, I think about half and half roughly.
Yeah.
Like where guys, most of the guys came that are, if they came there as like blue belts or they were white belts. And then now they've been with us for like, you know, 10, 12 years since.
Yeah. It's fun, man. We've had like a lot of those guys.
Fabio Gurgel, he's going to give a belt with a number. You know that, right?
Oh, does he do numbers?
Yeah, he does.
That'd be cool.
He gives you the black belt with the number already.
Okay.
Embroidered on the thing.
So your number this.
Yeah, so it's
that's
like,
cool.
You're number 1, you're number 2. So everybody they get. And then last year he gave his last one. He's like, no, I'm not giving no more black belts.
Oh, wow.
Now it's Michael Lungi.
Michael Langley. Okay.
Yeah, he's the one giving belts now.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Fabio Gurgel is not promoting anybody.
Do you know Do you know what his final number was?
I think it's like 120.
120.
Wow. Let me. I don't remember.
How long has he been? Fabio, how long has he been training?
Oh God, forever, bro.
30 years.
He's dude.
More than 30.
Yeah, he had. Dude, he's
he got his Coral belt now. Not Coral.
Is he? What gym is he? Is it Alliance, right?
Yeah.
Alliance, and they're all over.
Well,
the
and
place. So many of those guys have gone and started their own gyms.
Yeah.
Fabio Gurgel's down in Brazil.
Yeah, everybody.
I mean, because like
everybody's under him.
Yeah,
crazy.
When you look at the guys that came from him and came from that lineage, it's incredible.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
see anything.
only going to spread. I mean, it's only getting more and more popular. Did you know? Here's a question. Like, I'd love to ask people that have been in the gym or been training for a long time. Like, are you surprised where jiu-jitsu is now? Did you anticipate it to be like this?
No, I'm not surprised. I think it should be even bigger because it's so good. That's something so good that makes people feel so well that it should, like, everybody should be training. And it's funny because when I'm talking to a person that doesn't train, it's very easy for me to tell, man, you need jiu-jitsu. Whatever they say, do you train? No, okay, you need jiu-jitsu. You know, like, oh man, I'm sick, whatever. My health is going bad. Okay, do you train? No, okay, you need jiu-jitsu. Man, I'm so happy, everything is working out in my life and everything. Okay, do you train? No, okay, you need jiu-jitsu.
You should try it out.
I get right. Yeah, and we talk about that too sometimes. Like, is jiu-jitsu for everyone? And we kind of came to the conclusion, I mean, possibly not.
I don't think I don't think it is. I think it like could be, but I think it's not going to be for everyone. Like, in theory, could it be? Yes, it could be.
Okay, I get you.
But in reality, is it not? It's just like, for instance, like exercise. Exercise is for everyone. Your body is meant to move.
Yeah.
Right. It's literally meant to do things. And even like when you get up and exercise, your body releases endorphins and dopamine and all this positive stuff as sort of a thing from it. It's probably as an incentive. Hey, you need to work out again. But not everybody in reality is going to do it.
Yeah. Right? They're not ready. A lot of people are not ready for that.
Yeah, it could be the environment too. Like, is it the right environment for you? Is it the right gym, the right intensity of training?
That's the thing too about, being, you see 103.
103.
That's crazy.
Wow.
103.
But I don't think that was the last one. He's just giving away.
Just the number.
Yeah.
Would you be able to go back? Do you keep track of every like the date and every person? You do. So you could probably go back and figure it out. Yeah.
So because if you look up there with the belts, with the pictures,
the dates,
put the dates.
But when you give them though, because we had our promotion, we had 4.
Yeah.
So the order that it was given.
Yeah. I have the dates, but
I don't think that matters. Or if you ask the guy, he's gonna know.
Yeah. Who got promoted before? I don't remember which one I was.
Well, I usually have everything recorded so I can go back and look. But yeah.
It's interesting though. I mean, it's good because that's like a special. It's just your special time.
Yeah,
like even that number,
it's a belonging thing.
Even that number is kind of a special thing.
I hear the number, whatever.
Yeah. Well, Mahamed, what do you now being a world champion, traveling, doing this stuff, coming back, doing a seminar here? What are your goals, like in life or in jiu-jitsu? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I want to keep winning tournaments. Traveling, fighting. But now it's not a lot about winning anymore. It's more, of course, I always want to win. I'm a winner. But it's about the person I'm becoming and everything. It sounds cliche, but it is. Doing stuff the right way. And also now I want to share that knowledge too, So I was telling him that now I kind of want to teach, I'm creating a studio that should be, the mats are arriving today in my house.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm creating a little studio, where I'm going to, of course, teach privates. Teaching online is good, but it's also good to, feel and have that contact with the person, So I'm going to be there teaching privates for now. And then eventually, I want to have my gym and everything. So that's it for jiu-jitsu. I want to teach my daughter.
Yes, I saw that picture.
She's 3.
That's so cute, man.
She's 3 years old.
She's 3 right now. I want to create an environment for her to, I'm not gonna say I want her to be training jiu-jitsu. I want her to do whatever she wants to do. But I want her to at least know how to defend herself, At least to know how to fall, how to approach a bully or whatever. So I want her to have that available for her. If she wants to train and her dad is a black belt, I don't want her to go to be looking for a place to train, to learn from. Like, she can learn from me if she wants to learn,
Right.
And that's it. And other people, if they have kids and stuff, I want to be there for them, because I know how deep it is for you to have a kid and wake up in the morning, put in the car, and give your kid to somebody and say, "Hey, take care of her."
Yeah.
It's like you can freak out just by thinking about, man, somebody, like we had a conversation yesterday. Man, you're giving your kid to somebody to take care of her for 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours. How can you trust that? Of course, nowadays you have the schools with cameras where you can access from the smartphone and everything, but you still want, to, man, if I can help a little more, man, give her jiu-jitsu. She's going to be training and stuff. She's going to be educated. She's going to know, like, how to respect the teachers and everything. Like, I want that to happen with my baby. So I want to create an environment for her, So now she already have geese. She had 2 geese, man. She's 3 years old. She's already have 2 geese. She had gloves already, she can punch a little bit. When I'm punching, she's over there trying to punch me too. But it became a problem because she was trying to punch everybody.
Yes.
And then I'm like, girl, like, you only punch people with gloves. If they have gloves and you have gloves on, you can punch. But I have to watch out, because as soon as she sees a kid with gloves, she's going to be punching them. Yeah. And she's kind of big for her age, so I kind of have to, watch out for her. But yeah, I want to create that environment for her. And that's it, man. And about life, I don't know. I want to be closer to my family. I want to be able to see my mom more. The last 5 years, I saw my mom very little because she's in Brazil. I'm here, it's expensive, visa stuff and everything. So now I want to be able to go there more often and see her. I want her to come here, more often, to see my daughter too.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think that's it for my life. That's what I want.
That's good. I resonate a lot with the conversation about the kids. My daughter's almost 4, my son's 6, almost 6. And it's the same thing. He's working little punches, and we'll go on the mats and we'll mess around and stuff and just make it fun.
It's fun, man.
You make it fun, but also it's like a life skill.
And
right?
they are learning, but they don't know they're learning. That's the biggest thing. They think they're playing. They are playing, but they're learning, and they're going to see, like my daughter, when she walks on the mat, I never taught her to bow in. But since all the time I walk in at bow in, and then one thing that she's going to say all the time, no shoes on the mat. She already know, so she's going to take it out, put it there. So she's not like, I'm not saying this, but hey, take your shoes out if you want to come here. If you don't want to come here, you can stay there. Okay. But if you want to come here, no shoes. And now if she sees somebody,
she's watching.
Yeah. She's going to be paying attention, It's fun.
Are there any traditions like in jiu-jitsu that maybe you want to pass on, and maybe any traditions that you don't think are good for jiu-jitsu? Maybe the way things have been done, now that you're going to start maybe developing your own team, your own gym, you're going to become a coach. And the seminar, by the way, was great. The things you showed, it was one kind of position, and we extract, you can see that there's so many variations. It's like I don't know what they call it, like a little, like you have your position, and you have all these little, like a spider web
flow chart
of all, like a flow chart. Yeah. Thank you, Chewy. Words are hard sometimes for me. That's why you're here. But yeah, it's for me, instantly I do this. So it worked for me. It was great. So I loved it. So if you ever do a seminar, Mahomed's available, jump on. It's great. It was a great experience. But so back to the traditions. You've trained in Brazil, you've trained here. What did you like as a tradition in jiu-jitsu, and what's maybe one thing that you don't think is great that you'd like to change? Or
I like everything about the traditions. I just don't think you have to beat people up when they get promoted.
Beat them up, like how? Like Shark Tank?
Yeah, it's fun. I like it, but I know that's not for everybody. So you have to respect people. And I like the respect, I like shaking hands, looking in the eyes. A lot of places people just gonna bow out and leave. I like actually shaking everybody's hand, looking everybody in the face, because you never know what people is going through. If they can't look at you in your face, maybe hey man, are you okay? Just check on people.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Yeah, training hard. What else? Yeah, the respect. That's the biggest thing. You should keep the respect about everything. Of course, you have the right to think, but you have to find a way to say it. Like do it right, like you said. If you want to leave or whatever you want to do, like communicate. Talk.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it. I don't know. What about you guys? What do you think about traditions and stuff? What do you don't like about old stuff? And I just don't like when they structure makes it look like he's perfect. Man.
Yeah.
I'm right. I'm the structure. I'm right. You're wrong. You shut up. I say you shut up.
Yeah. I don't like that stuff.
Yeah, I kind of don't like that.
Yeah. I think there was one gym I went to one time, and there was a white belt who, like, he kept doing this. Like, so imagine you're me. He's his head's down, and you kind of turn and kind of look at me, and then you do this. And eventually, I looked at him and said, "Hey, man, what's up?" And he comes over and walks up to me, and he says, "He goes, we're not." And he's like, "I'm sorry, man." He's like, "I'm not supposed to. Like, we're not supposed to approach black belts here." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, because you're a black belt and a white belt." I was like, "That's stupid." I was like, "If you want to talk to me, come talk to me. I'm a human." Like,
100%.
So I've seen sometimes where, like you said, they put people on pedestals. It's like,
I don't like that.
No, I mean, like, it's like we're here doing something.
And some places you don't even have to write to ask some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, listen, I think I've been training way too hard. Can I rest one round? What you talking about? You're a white belt.
Yeah.
Oh, you're being stressed out. You're tired.
Right.
So I don't like that thing where people think they got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I don't like when they make things I don't like when there's too many rules. Like, I think a lot of the rules in jiu-jitsu, like basic respect for each other, right? Treat other people how you want to be treated. It's a very simple idea. If you want to make people bow on the mat and stuff, that's fine, no problem. But some gyms have a lot of rules. And I feel like sometimes it's nice to go into the gym where you can kind of, like, when you go through the doors, you walk in, okay, who I am outside of this gym, they're gone. Now I'm in here. I'm a different person, essentially, because in here, nobody cares what kind of car I drive. Nobody cares, what kind of house I have. They don't care which God I pray to. We're just going to roll around. And as long as we're trying to do the same thing, we're trying to get better and trying to roll with each other, then it's all good. But then you're like, okay, well, you can only have this patch here, and you've got to make sure it's only a white gi. Your belt has to be tied this way. You got to make sure you do this. Like, oh my God, the rules. Like I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes I don't really personally like that militant sort of thing.
I like the uniforms, but I don't like forcing people to wear your uniform and buy it from you.
Sure.
Because I feel like you're just trying to make me buy something that is not even that good. And a lot of times the uniforms are not even that good, and they're trying to force people to convince people that that's what they have to wear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. If you want to wear a shoyo roll, pay more for the gi. That's cool. If you want to wear whatever, pay less for the gis.
Right.
Cool. Of course, I like the uniforms. I don't like people wearing white top, blue pants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like
match.
I don't like people looking like a mess. I don't want the gym and the environment to look like a mess. Of course, because it's also about you're training with that person. You don't know if they're healthy. You don't know if they have ringworms and stuff. And if you see people who don't care, like if you don't make people care about, man, your gi has to be clean.
Oh, you have to
like you kind of have to control, because some people, they don't care.
Yeah.
And that can be bad for everybody else. So
clean gi, trim nails.
Yeah, of course. Like I like those things. I like the uniforms, but not forcing people who like to use that specific one. Man, we have this here. If you want to buy, cool. If you don't want to buy, cool too. So yeah, that's me too.
Sometimes some of the guys, like, most of the people are pretty receptive to them, right? You tell them to trim their nails and they're trimmed. But I've had a couple guys where I have to, like, every time they stepped on the mat, I'm like, let me see your nails, hold them out, and like go trim them. Like, it's just like, come on, man, like. Because that's dangerous. Take someone's eye.
Man, I have a little scar here on my leg that it was somebody training wrestling. Man, all the time I train with this guy, man.
Yeah. start scratching you, you know. And I mean, if they hit your eye,
oh yeah,
bro, you could be I mean, you could be sightless. You could have to go, like, you could scratch a cornea. There's all kinds of bad stuff you could do, you know. So it's not just like a cleanliness thing. It's like that's a dangerous thing, you know. But a lot of people don't think about that till you grapple, because most of the time your nails don't really matter, you know. We'll keep them clean, but now you're like, you got to keep them trimmed, you know.
I think, like, Chewy, you had said about not be able to approach a black belt, or even like I'm okay with somebody asking me to roll. Like, someone wants to roll with me, I'm fine with them asking me. That's different every gym,
of course. But, and you have the right to say, like for instance, you know, I've had guys where they said, "Oh, hey, Chewy, can I roll?" And I was getting ready for a competition.
Right,
like, hey, listen, I got to roll with that guy today because I need to be pushed. I was like, but, like, you know, like, get me next week. It's competition be over.
Absolutely,
that kind of stuff.
I get that.
You know,
right? Just
like,
not even being able to approach.
It's kind of tricky because, like, now, let's say if I'm going to a seminar yesterday, I was here, so I want to roll with the black belts and the good guys, and then if I spend like 4 or 5 rows we're rolling with white belts, it's kind of tricky too, you know. So it's kind of somewhere where, of course, you want to give everybody attention, but at the same time, wait until your opportunity comes up, you know. Like, don't be a crazy guy, you know. Like, man, I'm a white belt, this person is here to train, to have good training. I'm a white belt, I'm 40 pounds lighter than the guy, and I want to get rolling with him. It's kind of tricky, you know. Like, let's say if I have students and somebody comes to teach a seminar, maybe I would say, man, listen, if you're a white belt, blue belt, wait. Let the guy train for it. If he has time, if he wants, you're gonna have the opportunity later. So just that. But I don't think you should be, you know, oh, you can't roll or ask. No, if you're there, the guy's there, man, can we roll? Sure. You know, that's cool. Yeah. But that's the same thing about the rules and everything.
Yeah, everything that makes it more accessible. You're not like you're not like
God.
This. Yeah, exactly. Mahamed, if people want to get a hold of you, seminars, or follow you on social media, where can they do that?
Yeah, my Instagram and everything is Ali BJJ, ALY BJJ. And I have an English YouTube channel that I've been saying that I'm going to do, but now that I'm going to have the mats and everything at home, I'm going to be able to record and create more content. And it's called One Way Jiu-Jitsu. So, yeah, my YouTube channel in English.
We'll put the links down there.
Yeah, I'll put the links. And then you have like a Portuguese one where is it more for like Brazilian people? Like,
no, that's
well,
English.
I know that, but you have another channel, correct?
I have a Brazilian channel, which is just Mahamed Aly.
Okay.
And yeah, that's in Portuguese. I mean, if you speak Portuguese, you can go there. You know, they have so many videos, like 400 videos.
Wow.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I'm happy, man.
Awesome.
All right, guys. So thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Again, lots of good stuff in that podcast with you. By the way, I want to let you guys know, because I'm sure someone's going to be upset about this. When we say the word fat, because we said that several times with Mahamed.
Oh, okay.
Just letting you know, like, I was a big guy. I have big friends that are, you know, overweight. The thing is if you're overweight and you're just totally cool with it, that's fine. That's fine. I don't care. But if you're not, you can change it. That's the difference. Now, also, people are not going to be the same size, right? Like, there's people that are just gonna be thick. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm never going to be a super thin person. It's just not in the cards for me, right? I'm okay with that. And you know, some people are going to be bigger, some people are going to be smaller. You got to love yourself for wherever you're at, right? That's the big thing. But at the same time, if you don't want to be a certain way, you have it within your ability to change it. And that's kind of, I think, what we were talking about there, right? Like, if someone heard that, I'm sure someone got upset about it, but it's not to criticize or anything else. It's just to let you know, you can change anything you want to change. Like, nothing is set in stone. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. If you want to be smaller, bigger, whatever, it's all within your power to change. And because you are the creator of your own destiny based on the choices and the habits that you choose to take part in. So just want to end with that. So guys, with that said, thanks to our sponsors, Charlotte's Web. You can try out some of their products, give it a month and see what you think about their stuff. And you can understand why I'm talking about it and why I'm a big fan of their products and why I use them for my sleep and recovery and everything else. But you can go to charlottesweb.com. Promo code is Chewjitsu. Save 15% on the order. You can go to epicrollbjj.com. Promo code is Jiu-Jitsu, 15% off on the order. You can get yourself some Jiu-Jitsu gear, t-shirts, no-gi gear, Be on the lookout for our upcoming Jiu-Jitsu rash guards. If you want to go to and support the podcast, as well as get some additional sort of entertainment / training information, you can go to patreon.com/the Jiu-Jitsu Podcast. And last but not least, if you would like to join my Chew Crew email list, then you can do so and get yourself a few free ebooks with some training ideas, as well as some actual workouts that are in there. A bunch of bodyweight stuff that we made last year during the quarantine. You can get that by going to chewjitsu.net and click the button that says free ebook. You put your email in there. You will now afterwards get all the information that comes out, like events, products, different ideas to things to chew on. You'll get those things delivered to you first before anybody else, and you'll get some free stuff. And if at any point, if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast today. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk to you next time.